His brothers sold him into slavery. He ended up saving them all. This is the story of Joseph. He saw it clearly. His brothers bowing. His future rising. But the moment he spoke it out loud, everything turned against him. Because what happens at the end will change how you see everything that came before. Joseph was his father's favorite. Not quietly, not subtly. Everyone could see it. The coat, the attention, the way his father looked at him. And then came the dreams. We were binding sheaves, and yours bowed to mine. Silence, then anger. Are you saying you will rule over us? Another dream. The sun, the moon, 11 stars, bowing. Even his father paused, and in that moment, something shifted. Not just jealousy, hatred. Days later, he walked toward them, alone. He had no idea what was waiting. They saw him coming from a distance, and before he even reached them, here comes the dreamer. Not his name, not their brother, the dreamer. Let's kill him. Reuben hesitated. No, throw him in the pit. So they grabbed him, stripped the robe, and dropped him into the empty well. No water, no way out, just silence, and the sound of his voice echoing upward. And while he was in the pit, they sat down to eat. Then, a caravan, traders, passing by. What do we gain if he dies? So they pulled him out, not to save him, but to sell him. 20 pieces of silver. And just like that, the dreamer became a slave. They showed their father the coat, and he recognized it immediately. A wild animal has killed him. Jacob tore his clothes and wept for days, and his sons, who knew the truth, said nothing. Egypt, a foreign land. Gods he did not know. He was bought by a man named Potiphar, and somehow, everything he touched began to succeed. The house prospered, the fields flourished, and Joseph rose, from slave to trusted, from forgotten to favored. It almost felt like the dream again, until it didn't. Potiphar's wife watched him, day after day, closer, persistent. Be with me, he refused. Again and again, until one day, no one else was in the house. She grabbed his garment. Be with me. He ran and left everything behind, except the accusation. Her voice changed, her story twisted, and the man who trusted him most believed her. Prison, not just chains, but silence. No explanation, no justice. He would be in that prison for 2 years. What changed everything started with a dream that wasn't even his. Even there, something strange happened. The prison keeper trusted him. Responsibility returned. Order returned. But still, no answers. 2 men arrived. Pharaoh's cupbearer, Pharaoh's baker. Both disturbed. Both dreaming. And Joseph said something that didn't match his situation. Interpretations belonged to God. He still believed. He interpreted their dreams. One would live, one would die. Joseph made one request. Remember me? Days passed, then months, then years. Forgotten. Until Pharaoh dreamed. Disturbing. Unexplainable. No one could interpret it. And suddenly, the memory returned. There was a man. Joseph was brought out, cleaned, presented, standing before power. And Pharaoh said, I hear you can interpret dreams. Joseph answered, I cannot, but God can. 7 years of abundance, 7 years of famine, a warning, a plan, and in a single moment, the prisoner became ruler, second only to Pharaoh. Everything that looked like loss was leading somewhere. The dream was getting closer, and just as Joseph had seen, the years of abundance came. The fields overflowed. The harvests multiplied, and grain filled the storehouses of Egypt. Then the famine came, and it spread across lands, across borders, until one day, his brothers stood before him, hungry, desperate, bowing, exactly as he saw. But they didn't recognize him. He did. But he didn't reveal himself. Instead, he accused them. Spies. He demanded proof. Their youngest brother, Benjamin. Before they left, he gave a quiet command. Their silver, return to their sacks. They wouldn't see it yet, but it would follow them. When they came back, Benjamin with them. He tested them again. This time, he hid his own silver cup in Benjamin's sack. And as they left, they were stopped, accused, searched, one by one. Nothing. Until Benjamin. The cup. Silence. Everything was about to repeat. Another brother? Taken. Lost. He tested them, pressed them, watched them, waiting to see if they had changed. And then, something changed. Judah stepped forward, not to escape, to stay. Take me instead, for how can I go back if the boy is not with me? They were not the same men. He couldn't hold it anymore. He sent everyone out. The room emptied. Silence. Then, he wept, loud enough to be heard outside, and through tears. I am Joseph. Is my father still alive? They couldn't answer. Fear, shock, guilt. And then, the moment everything had been building toward. Do not be afraid. You sold me, but God sent me. You meant evil against me, but God meant it for good. He didn't punish them. He didn't turn away. He fell on his brothers and wept, and he kissed them all. Jacob was 130 years old when he arrived in Egypt. He thought his son was dead for 22 years. When Joseph saw him, he wept for a long time. The dream didn't lie. It just didn't happen the way he expected. The pit, the slavery, the prison, none of it was wasted. God didn't lose control. Even when it looked like everything had fallen apart, he was still writing the story. Maybe your story feels like the pit, or the prisoner, or the silence, but it's not the end. God sent his son Jesus to die for us, and he is our hope.